you've been around a while, you know that I'm a busy mom of 5, homemaker, farmer's wife, gardener, love making all my food from scratch. The question then is, how do you do it all? And the answer is I don't. I don't think anybody does. We all have areas that we need to delegate, areas that we have to prioritize what's more important, this or this. But 11 years into my homemaking journey now, and I've found that for me, the biggest key seems to be creating schedules and forming habits. So I hope that today's video inspires you, encourages you, but it is not a template for you to follow. Everyone's life looks so different, and so I hope this video does not come across as like this is how you should do everything, but rather just maybe give you some inspiration and pointers and encouragement along the way. Alright, so first one is to clean your space frequently. Something that I have implemented for a long time that actually makes a big difference, little as it may seem, is to never leave a room empty-handed. So if I'm going upstairs, I quickly look around what needs to be taken up. Take that up with me, do whatever I was gonna do upstairs. Then I'm upstairs, oh, there's a cup on the dresser that needs to be taken down. Take that down with me and put it right in the dishwasher. That's a great way to just kind of keep little things picked up throughout the day. I know there's a lot of people that like to implement 5-minute cleanups with all the kids, which is amazing as well. We don't do that specifically, but they will take up a handful of toys, which we leave in a little corner of the dining room on a high chair. That's where if I see their stuff floating around throughout the day, at the end of the day, they will take those up with them so that it's cleaned up and ready for a fresh start the next day. They also do help with pickups here and there, but I try to really also teach them, and especially now as they're getting a little bit older, that you just clean up whatever you were playing with, whatever craft you were doing, as soon as you're done, instead of needing things to pile up like that and then have big cleanups. Another thing that is huge is the one-touch rule. So if I am bringing, say, a cup down from my bedside table, I do not set it on the counter, I just put it directly into the dishwasher. Doing that throughout all the different aspects of your house. The second tip is one that I actually struggle with a lot. I tend to feel mom guilt over. I shouldn't, but it is to delegate, and specifically to teach the kids to help. For some reason, I think we as moms often feel like, well, we're the mom, like we should be doing it all. And the truth is, we're actually doing our kids a disservice if we do not train them how to do a good job, teach them all these skills and teamwork and work ethic and just outlook on all of that that will benefit them both now at home, but also later once they leave home and enter the workplace or have their own families to manage. It's really a gift, really, that we can give them now, and it also benefits the whole family. I've heard someone talk about a while ago the whole thing about allowance. She was saying for them, they have their kids, you know, specific chores that they do throughout the house. And a lot of it is things that, you know, messes they have made, dishes they have eaten off of, and things like that there is no allowance for. That is simply not how real life is, you know. So that is just kind of, it's part of living here. You make the mess, you help clean up the mess. It's just how life goes. But then if they want to go beyond that and say clean out the van, things that are not directly related to what they, you know, the mess they made, if they do things beyond that, that's when they get an allowance for it or get paid for it, because at that point they are going above what was asked of them. It's looked at similarly as actually, you know, doing work for others. Number 3, I am very excited about as we can start getting ready for school, and that is to declutter. I feel like when people think minimalist, they think more, you know, white walls, stark rooms, unwelcoming, that kind of thing. That's not at all what I'm going for, but I am so passionate about not having clutter or junk or things that you don't really need or use, having more than one of an item that you would only need one of, that kind of things. I've been kind of revamping our wardrobes, and I want to continue to do that throughout our spaces. And maybe, I don't know, let me know if you want to hear more of that whole journey at some point, but it is something, like I said, I've seen such big improvement on. And you don't have to be minimalist in order to declutter. I'd like to do this especially, you know, around Christmas time again, when you know you'll be adding more to your household, just going through and just donating, giving away, getting rid of things that you no longer need or serve you well, and doing that will serve your family well. Now, you could say I'm kind of old-fashioned. I'm a very pen and paper type of girl, but the fourth thing that has been so helpful to me in managing my time is to sit down. I usually like to sit down like Sunday evening with a couple of cookbooks, with my planner, maybe an extra notebook, and just kind of jot down my week. And so that includes meal planning. I do not meal plan breakfast and lunch. Breakfast is usually, you know, eggs and sourdough bread, or granola and yogurt, or, you know, sourdough pancakes. I don't know. We just kind of have a couple things we rotate between, and it's usually just very simple and easy. And then lunch is leftovers from the night before. So when I cook dinner, I try to make enough for 2 meals so that lunch is taken care of as well. So that means I only need to meal plan dinners, and doing that makes such a difference through the week. I find when I don't do that, I just, like, I'm constantly thinking, okay, what should we make tonight? Like, what meat do I need to take out now to thaw? Or it just takes up a lot of mental energy. And so sitting down at the beginning of the week, kind of taking control of that situation, thinking through what I have in the freezers, in my pantries, in the garden that needs to be used up, and creating meals out of that, writing down a store list of anything that I would need to buy in order to finish off the meals. And that is huge in and of itself. But I also like to go and write down anything else that I know that's happening that week. And so my planner is kind of where I do all of things specific to me, and I'm very detailed. I will write down like how devotions, do my load of laundry, do my workout, and then anything else that's happening that day, get groceries, or pick tomatoes, or make ketchup, or, you know, any little thing I like to write down in there. And that is so helpful for me to kind of just unload everything I know it's going. And then we also have this big wall calendar, which, by the way, we love it, and I will leave the link down below. I'll try to leave like my ink color and all of that if you want the exact same. But basically, I put in everything that's family related on there. Events that we have as a family, or even things that will just affect the whole family. That is something that, especially as the kids are getting older, they are actually referring to a lot and looking at, and it's been helpful also for Josh just to have it out in the open. Any of us can see it as we pass by and just kind of see what's all on our schedule. And it also really helps not to overbook weeks. So just those simple things of writing things down, pen and paper or on the big wall calendar, has honestly made the mental part of time management a lot more manageable. Number 5, I think, steps on a lot of our toes, and it is to cut out distractions, namely this one. How many of us wake up in the morning and turn this thing on first thing? That used to be me. Terrible plan of action. Something that seems to benefit me a lot more is wake up in the morning, don't look at my phone, go outside, even barefoot, walk around, look around, praise the Lord, you know? That's a lot more beneficial to me than sitting and scrolling first thing. But even when it's not first thing in the morning, I actually recently have been reading some books, and one of them I highly recommend to all of you. It is The Opt-Out Family. It was so helpful and eye-opening, even for me as a mom. She talks in there a lot about like phones and kids, but it's also so applicable to adults, and just a good, like, even if you don't want to go to a flip phone or all the things, I think it's just good for us to know and be aware of the things she talks about. But anyways, I don't know if it was in that book or in a podcast or what, but they were saying that your phone, even when you have it face down, you will still keep thinking about it, which has been so convicting to me, because I know that's true. Like, for whatever reason, even if we see our phone at the corner of our eye, it's almost like muscle memory that we just want to pick it up and look at it like, oh, do I have an email? What was that ding about? Like, I wonder how many people commented on my latest post, and should I take the time to respond to those comments? Or, oh, I should look up this recipe. It's endless. It's frustrating. And so I am trying to make a mental note, not just to put my phone down, but to put it, and you can't even see what I'm doing, in a drawer out of sight. And that to me is where that like checking on your phone constantly diminishes and goes away, and is actually so incredibly beneficial in keeping on schedule, on task. And yes, there are those times when I pull it out for work or for catching up with friends or for WhatsApping my family, but trying not to just constantly have it on me for both my own health benefits as well as time management. Number 6, I feel like we kind of covered with our whole schedule thing, but it is to not be afraid to say no to things. Sometimes I can feel like, well, but I have to be a good friend, or like I just feel obligated. It would technically be in my capabilities to do this thing, when really that is not in our best interest. It is not in our family's best interest. And whenever you're saying yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. So just keeping that in mind and choosing wisely, prioritizing what is the most important to you. I talked about this a little bit in, I think, my last video, but it is to work out. It seems a little odd for a time management video, but trust me, it works. If you work out, you know that it works. Sluggish bodies, unnourished bodies do not want to work. They do not want to be productive. And so the best kind of self-care, in my opinion, is reading your Bible, working out, and nourishing your body. Okay, got a little friend joining me now. But I think I was talking about working out. It has honestly been game changer in my life a couple times over. So I've had times like my last pregnancy where I am couch ridden like the entire time. Honestly, almost the past year has been that for me. And so now finally being able to move again, I'm just realizing all over again what a huge difference that makes. And it does not have to be an expensive gym membership. It can be as simple as going for a quick walk or doing jumping jacks, and your baby will be entertained, trust me. I want to piggyback off of my previous tip though with this one, which is to allow yourself to rest. Now, this does not mean like rest indefinitely from working out or from nourishing your body, but it does mean that if you've had a very busy season, a very busy week even, busy few weeks, and you just feel, bless you, like, oh bless you, like your body needs rest, listen to it. My doctor always says your body is trying to tell you what it needs, you just need to listen to it. And I found that to be true. I used to just try to plow through, like we've had a busy week, then we hosted on Sunday, so that ended up not being a day of rest, and then we had all these other events, and just kind of gets to you after a while. And so I used to fight that and be like, no, it's a Monday, I should be working, like this is my get it all done day. And it just wouldn't go anywhere. I would start to feel so exhausted. I would make bad food choices, which then led to me not feeling great. And it would just kind of, train effect that would carry out over a number of days until I finally realized what's going on. Versus now I'm trying, and there are days when you can't be flexible, and that's just how it is. You have to deal with it. I try to be mindful now whenever possible to allow myself a day to just kind of take it easy. Like, yes, I still need to make food for my family, and yes, I need to obviously still take care of my kids, but a lot of the other like projects can wait. And I find if I do that, it's more like one day of slow instead of pushing and shoving for 3 or 4 days, and it just in the long run is actually a lot more productive. So number 9 is sticky note reminders. No, I do not like the alarm on my phone or a timer on my phone. Like I said, I'm a little old-fashioned with some of these things, but I found it to be super helpful when there's things I don't want to forget. Write it on a sticky note and put it on my kitchen cabinet. And I love also doing this when I'm baking. So you've seen me do it in baking videos before, but where I have a lot of different doughs that I've mixed the night before. This is especially helpful if you do sourdough because you want that overnight ferment. But mix all these doughs before, and then I'll just put a sticky note on them, pop them in the fridge or keep them on the counter, but that way I know what's what. The next morning I can mix out my rolls and take another sticky note and write the time that these rolls need to be shaped. And so that one says 10:30, and then I shape my dough and put a sticky note on that. Like that one is ready to bake at 11 o'clock. And so I don't need to try to keep it in my mind like, okay, I need to remember this at this time, and then half an hour I need to do that, but then 45 minutes after that I need to take care of this. I have it all right there in front of me on sticky notes that I can easily glance over. I don't need to scroll through my phone and like try to find it again. I just glance, and like all my times are right here. And then I can do it all in one day instead of having to do a little bit of baking every day of the week. And so that's something that has been very beneficial, and I don't know, just a little kitchen hack, I guess. And number 10, he started giving the sweetest little hugs that sometimes involves pulling hair, but it's so darling. I know. Number 10 is to pair a task with something already in your routine. So for example, that means when I brush my teeth in the morning, I am putting wash into my wash machine. Yes, I get bored while I brush my teeth. So I figured that out. Hey, I could load my washing machine a while, which is right next to each other. Or in the evenings when I'm filling my dishwasher, I can empty cups, like leftover cups of water, into my houseplants and be watering the plants. There's so many things like that. While you are bathing the kids, you can clean your bathroom mirror. Little things like that that can make such a big difference, and that are kind of cues to do this little task that really just, you know, little things that make a big difference in the end. And I feel like that's what all of these tips have been. Little things that amount to big differences, big improvements, and that help me manage my time well as a busy wife and mom and homemaker. So I hope these tips were helpful for you. If you have any to add, please leave them in the comments below. I love going down there and reading your comments and your suggestions, and honestly learn so much from you. So let's make this a two-way street, shall we? But thank you so much for being here today, for joining us again. I hope you were inspired, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, friends.
Golden, golden thing.